Welcome in, Seahawks Today. It is powered by Chat Sports, and we are sponsored by HexClad, one of our newest sponsors here at Chat Sports. We'll tell you more about what they do coming up later on in the show. You can save 10% off and use the promo code CHAT at checkout. Coming up on today's show, we have OTA winners and losers. As you all know, in life, you can be one of two things, a winner or a loser. Just ask the Roy family from Succession, right? Shout out to Tom, by the way, coming out the ultimate winner in that one. We have plenty to get to on today's show. We've learned a lot from OTAs so far at this point, including that Devin Witherspoon, I guess, really likes the 1994 song Tootsie Roll by the 69 Boys. Can't blame him for that. We'll go over everything you need to know from OTAs to this point in just a moment. Before we do, this week, sub-battle is on between our channel and the 49ers report and the Cowboys report. Got a little work to do to catch up with the other channels here. So let's come out victorious this week and take down the arch rival 49ers report and then, of course, the Cowboys, because everybody loves to hate the Cowboys. Subscribe now for the latest happenings on your favorite team. We're covering the Seahawks each and every day for free. Turn on notifications so you never miss a moment. Let's start with Devin Bush. This is a guy that, I'll be honest, at the time I wasn't high on the signing, but then they brought in Bobby Wagner, and all of a sudden you were talking about him being a rotational linebacker, and that made sense of sorts. But nonetheless, Devin Bush, after the way things have spiraled the last couple of years, has had something to prove of some sorts with this fresh start in Seattle. Well, so far, things appear to be headed in the right direction, at least according to Mike Salk of Seattle Sports 710. This is what Mike had to say about Devin Bush at OTAs. Devin Bush is built like no linebacker I've ever seen. He's only 5'11", and while he's thick enough to play the position, he really looks like a safety. Maybe that's with the number 0, stands out there a bit. But I was shocked. That is until you see his calves. They are 100% linebacker calves. After a disastrous start to his career in Pittsburgh, the energetic Bush seems pretty darn excited to play in a new place where his style could really complement the other linebackers and fit with a coaching staff that is excited to see his speed. And so all of that is pretty exciting when it comes to Devin Bush. And we know with Jordyn Brooks, with his injury situation of still waiting to see his return, that this opens up an opportunity. And so far, it would look as if Devin Bush is taking advantage of said opportunity to play alongside Bobby Wagner and company in that linebacking core. More on Bobby Wagner later. But Devin Bush off to a good start. That all sounds good as far as I'm concerned. Will Devin Bush have a bounce-back season? The best year of his NFL career so far at this point was his rookie year in Pittsburgh, and things have been kind of downhill ever since. This is our pinned comment today. You might get an ad break. If so, take advantage of it. Get your votes in. Tell me what you think. Y for yes, N for no. Will Devin Bush have a bounce-back year this year or not? Now let's shift over, staying on defense, to rookie Cameron Young out of Mississippi State. Cameron Young with a excellent opportunity here to potentially be a starter at the interior of the defensive line for the Seattle Seahawks. And so far, he has looked the part and stepped up within these first few days of OTAs. More from Seahawks defensive coordinator Clint Hurtt on Cameron Young. He's a guy that has good football awareness, ideas, and feels of things going on in terms of transitioning into a different scheme and how you are going to play him. He has all of that stuff, and you just have to continue to develop and train him to get him up to speed on things. He has done a nice job so far. So very good. When the defensive coordinator is talking about you, that's a pretty dang good sign as far as I'm concerned with his development. We know that the Seahawks are a little short-handed at that position. So far, Cameron Young appears to be stepping up to the plate there to compete for playing time at that spot. More on Seahawks OTAs coming up in just a moment. All right, guys, it's time to talk about your kitchen. I'm not talking about your roommate's dishes in the sink. Today's sponsor, HexClad, has revolutionized the cookware industry with a hybrid pan that gives you all the convenience and cleanup of non-stick, the versatility of your grandma's cast iron, and a lifetime warranty just in case you find a way to destroy them. Use promo code CHAT at hexclad.com for 10% off. Hexclad truly checks every single box when it comes to picking your cookware. They are metal, utensil safe, dishwasher safe, and oven safe up to 500 degrees. And don't just take my word for it. Celebrity chef Gordon Ramsay uses them at home too. The sear I can get with these pans is incredible with absolutely no stick. The temperature control is utter perfection and the cleanup is effortless. I love using Hexclad at home. And you can see I got it right here myself. Here it is in all its glory, folks. Just fantastic. They are the sexiest pans on the market, folks. Score points at home. It's time to stop ordering delivery food and start cooking like a big boy with Hexclad. Real cuisine isn't made in the microwave. It's cooked in a Hexclad. For a limited time, get 10% off with our special link, hexclad.com/chat. That's 10% off at hexclad.com with code chat. Here it is one more time for you so you can see. I'll be honest, I typically don't like to cook a whole lot, but Hexclad makes it easy, and it's got me cooking all the time. So what are you waiting for? Sign up now at hexclad.com/chat. Get 10% off with promo code chat at checkout. Next up, a rookie we've talked a lot about here on the channel. That is Jackson Smith-Njigba, who the Seahawks took at number 20 overall from the Ohio State, the top receiver in this year's draft. And the big question mark about JSN with the draft pick was his health status. And we heard within the last couple of weeks JSN say that he's 100%, that he's all ready to go. And not only has he impressed Geno Smith and other players like we've told you about previously, but also caught the attention of his offensive coordinator, Shane Waldron. Here's more from Waldron. He's done a good job just kind of blending in with the team, getting used to the guys, getting used to the building and the environment here. He's done a great job with the work that he's been able to do so far. You see a lot of his natural talent really showcased, especially in some of the individual drills and some of the individual work. So excited to work with him and watch him progress throughout this OTA and training camp. So that's a very good sign for Jackson Smith-Njigba winning over the coaching staff on top of already winning over his teammates like we told you about previously. Next on the list is Bobby Wagner, and I got to tell you, it's very interesting looking at this running back room right now of how people feel about this group, knowing that Devin Bush is off to a good start, but then also Bobby Wagner as well. We found out this week that Bobby Wagner will get the green dot back. He will take back the play calling duties of sorts, make those calls to the rest of the defense of what the schemes will be. Jordyn Brooks did that role last year after Bobby Wagner left, but he's taking that back. He'll kind of be the captain, the face of this defense again, taking over what he previously did when he was in Seattle the first time. And this is what Clint Hurtt had to say. Is this is the first time that Wagner and Clint Hurtt have worked together now since Clint Hurtt showed up after Bobby Wagner left last year. On Bobby Wagner, Clint Hurtt said, very humble, and that speaks to how great of a person he is. He didn't come in and assume anything. He just wants to work and still earn it. Even with new teammates, that's beyond admirable. He and I being an extension of each other, the communication has been great. So like a coach on the field of some sorts is what you're getting out of Bobby Wagner with that veteran leadership presence there. Last winner from OTAs we'll point to today is Evan Brown. The Seahawks signed from the Detroit Lions and expected to compete for the starting center role. And according to the Seattle Times, it seems like that Evan Brown is already making the case on why he should be a starter for this Seattle team. As expected, but still noteworthy, free agent signee Evan Brown worked with the first team at center. Brown played guard last year with Detroit, but played center in 2021. And the Seahawks view his best position at center, where he is the leader to replace last year's starter, Austin Blythe. Seattle also drafted Olu out of Michigan in the 5th round, and he will compete at center, as will Joey Hunt. So in the driver's seat appears to be Evan Brown at this point for that starting center position. We'll get to the losers of OTAs in just a moment, but first, here's your chance to weigh in the comment section. Name a winner for Seahawks OTAs so far. Who stood out to you from what we've told you here on the channel, or from what you've heard elsewhere. Tell me what you think in the comments section. Who's a winner for Seattle in OTA so far at this point? Let me know in the comments section below. To the losers list we go. That's where we start with Drew Lock, the presumed backup quarterback for the Seattle Seahawks behind Geno Smith. And this OTAs this year is quite different for Drew Lock, comparably speaking, to when he entered last year's OTAs, when it was an open competition. Last year, ultimately, he lost the job to Geno Smith. But now this year, coming in as the number 2 quarterback sitting behind Geno Smith, according to Mike Salk, things did not necessarily get off to a hot start for Drew Lock in 2023. As comfortable as Geno looked, the opposite was true for backup quarterback Drew Lock. Was more struck by how the pace of the offense dropped off as soon as he took over. He simply did not have the same command nor presence that Geno displayed. And that, unfortunately, mirrors what we saw last year at this time. If Lock wants to show that he is an NFL starter, I would think that the path involves cleaning up both issues, throw fewer picks, and develop the command and leadership the position demands. So not great there from Drew Lock to start off OTAs and kind of just, looking like a deer in headlights of sorts at this point in time. Not good for Drew Lock there, but still plenty of time to bounce back. Another guy is D. Eskridge, and we told you about at the beginning of camp how strong that he looked, but then things have gone another direction. I'm going to let Mike Salk continue to be the bad guy here and let him explain. After hearing how wide receiver D. Eskridge was the star of practice on Monday, I was excited to see if the hype was real. Unfortunately, he wasn't present. Look, I know I can be an old man in preferring players that show up for voluntary activities, and I'm willing to relent that it isn't quite as vital for veterans. But for a third-year receiver who had 17 total catches in his career, has spent much of it injured, and saw the team draft his likely replacement in the first round, if it was me, I would be there. And Mike is absolutely right about this. D. Eskridge has limited experience on the football field in the National Football League at this point. He's dealt with the injuries. JSN, everyone believes, is going to be that number 3 receiver. You impressed early on. Why are you still not there? Why is D. Eskridge not playing with a chip on his shoulder and something to prove? To me, that's concerning. Then you start to ask questions about his investment, his heart in the game, what's really in it, if he's not going to be there when he's in the midst of the biggest competition of his life right now. So that is a bit concerning, I agree, as far as D. Eskridge goes. Last one on the list is Jordyn Brooks. And Jordyn Brooks, he didn't necessarily do anything wrong. He's still recovering from the injury that he suffered at the end of last year, but we still don't know what the timetable looks like for his potential return. Devin Bush, as well as Bobby Wagner, have looked really good through OTAs to this point. He's not going to be the signal caller anymore in the defense. That goes back to Bobby Wagner now. And remember, just a few weeks ago, the Seahawks declined Jordyn Brooks' 5th-year option. So a lot of bad stuff piling up for Jordyn Brooks. When he comes back from injury, he's going to have a lot to prove for sure. Name a loser for Seahawks OTAs so far, whether it's one of those 3 names we talked about or somebody else. Tell me who comes to mind in the comment section below. Hit me up on social media, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Tyler Jones Live. You can find me there, and I'll see you next time right here on Seahawks Today.